The mission San Luis Obispo de Tolosa holds a significant place in California's colonial history. It was founded on September 1st, 1772, by Father Junípero Serra, a Spanish Franciscan missionary who established a chain of 21 missions along the California coast. This mission was the fifth in the system and is located in what is now the city of San Luis Obispo on California's central coast. The mission was named in honor of Saint Louis, Bishop of Toulouse, a 13th century French noble who renounced his wealth to join the Franciscan order. Serra chose the location for its fertile soil, reliable water sources, and abundant wildlife, but especially because it was home to the Chumash people, one of the region's most populous and advanced native cultures. The Spanish saw the mission as a center for religious conversion, agricultural development, and Spanish territorial control. The Chumash people became central to life at the mission. They were baptized and brought into the mission system, often under pressure or force. While they were taught new skills such as farming, construction, and craftsmanship, this came at great cost. The Chumash were expected to abandon their traditional beliefs, language, and ways of life. Life at the mission was highly structured and often harsh for native converts, who were subjected to strict discipline, grueling labor, and exposure to European diseases that devastated their population. Despite these hardships, the Chumash also contributed greatly to the success and construction of the mission, creating many of its buildings, tools, and agricultural systems. In its early years, the mission faced serious challenges, including resistance from surrounding native groups who saw the mission as a threat to their autonomy. Between 1774 and 1776, the mission was attacked several times by hostile groups using flaming arrows, which destroyed the thatched roofs of the early structures. As a result, the Franciscans and native laborers began to manufacture clay roofing tiles, which were much more fire-resistant. This innovation marked a turning point, as the use of tile roofs soon spread to other missions across California and became one of the defining features of Spanish colonial architecture in the region. Over time, the mission grew in size and influence, becoming a self-sustaining center with crops, livestock, workshops, a blacksmith forge, and living quarters for both clergy and native people. The mission church itself, which was completed around 1794, is known for its distinctive and somewhat unusual design. Unlike most mission churches, it features a narrow nave and a secondary nave forming an L shape. The walls are made of adobe, and the roof is topped with the now iconic red clay tiles. A bell tower was added later, and the mission plaza in front of the church eventually became a central part of the growing town. By the early 1800s, Mission San Luis Obispo had become a thriving settlement, with large herds of cattle and sheep, extensive fields, and a population of hundreds of native residents who carried out the work. However, this prosperity was short-lived. In 1834, following Mexico's independence from Spain, the Mexican government secularized the missions, stripping them of their land and property. The goal was to distribute the land to former native inhabitants and settlers, but in reality, much of it went to private landowners. The mission fell into decline, and the native population, already decimated by disease and the collapse of their traditional ways of life, suffered further displacement and marginalization. Many of the original mission buildings fell into disrepair during this period, and by the late 1800s, the once thriving mission was a shadow of its former self. Fortunately, restoration efforts began in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Local residents and the Catholic Church worked to preserve and restore the mission buildings, recognizing their cultural and historical significance. Today, Mission San Luis Obispo de Tolosa functions as an active Catholic parish within the Diocese of Monterey. It also serves as a museum, offering visitors a glimpse into the life of the mission during the Spanish and Mexican periods. The Mission Plaza is a popular gathering place in downtown San Luis Obispo, and the Mission Church continues to host religious services, weddings, and community events. The legacy of the mission is complex. On one hand, it stands as a monument to Spanish architecture, religious heritage, and California's early European history. On the other, it is also a symbol of colonialism, cultural disruption, and the suffering of the Chumash people, whose lives were forever changed by the mission system. Today, the story of Mission San Luis Obispo de Tolosa is taught with more honesty and nuance, acknowledging both the achievements of the mission and the injustices that occurred within its walls.